Have you ever left a queue early? Well, if you have, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the nuances of everyday interactions that make up the monotony of life. Let's dust the leaves of an indoor plant and think to ourselves, hang on, why am I doing this? Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch into their quilt of friendship. So join me, Dion, under the covers with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And Josh.
Welcome to Patchwork.
Well, it is season 10. We forgot to mention it last time we were here recording, but it's a big new season for us. That's
Huge.
double digits.
Double digits?
We're tweens.
We're twins. Congratulations.
No, did you know tweens was a thing?
Oh, these are
Twins.
twins.
No,
Yeah.
tweens.
Yeah, tweens, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In between.
Twins.
Oh, is that what it is? In between?
Yeah, it's like you're in between. You're not quite a teenager, you're a tween. In between.
Oh,
it comes with
wow.
a change of attitude, I've heard.
It does.
Huh. I hope so.
You know, I was about to say, I was going to say sex new attitude. I was like, don't use that word. A fun new attitude.
But also,
Big
one of the
change.
big changes is I'm now sitting in the big dog seat.
Oh,
If
was
you
it?
watch these on YouTube, I'm sitting where I managed to usurp Josh's throne.
Yep.
And now I'm sitting dead in front of the camera.
We constantly like to innovate on Welcome to Patchwork.
That's
And
true.
so, yeah, if you do, by the way, if you've listened to our podcast for a while, haven't visited our YouTube page, I'm going to say it straight out, you're nuts.
Yeah.
You're absolutely nuts because it's a great time, isn't it? You get
Get
to see
stuck in. This is season 10 stuff.
You get to see Josh's new shirt he bought in a op shop in Orbost.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get to see
true.
Christian's great white Dickie shirt.
Yep.
And me, you get to see me in the linen shirt
full
that I
linen.
really overuse
And
wearing.
it's so breathable.
Oh, it's lovely. And when it's wet, I don't know what it's doing.
Looks good, though.
Anyway, before we get started, today I had a big day, big day. I went to the Great Ocean Road today. God, it's beautiful.
Great.
Saw the 8 apostles.
you.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wincing, Christian, when he hears that. Do you remember when they were 12?
Yeah. I visited it when it was 12.
Oh, what'd you do?
When it was tween.
I didn't expect, to be honest, I didn't expect.
Tween apostles.
Got Josh's patch. Don't say that to a patch. I was actually a bit shocked to hear you say 8 apostles.
Yeah, there are 8 now. I counted them, and I looked it up and then counted them, verified it. Yeah. So it's not getting renamed, like the Gulf of Mexico is being renamed.
A lot of people standing over the rails taking photos, or
Yeah. Why do you ask?
it's ridiculous that people do that.
What? Of the 12 apostles, 8 apostles?
They just get on the other side of barriers so they don't have more people in their shot. I hate it.
Oh, I thought you meant more that they're trying to get close to the apostles, and
No,
if you're
no.
getting 30 centimeters close to the apostles, there's no point.
no,
That would be silly.
Dion, you had a big day.
Anyway, I had a big day, and I got up at 7 a.m., picked up a friend, and I was like, I have to be back here for 6:30 p.m.
Big days always start with a 7 a.m. start.
7
don't
a.m.
they?
start. Don't know if
It's
you've ever
gonna
done
be
that.
a big day.
Josh, don't know if you've ever done that
I
before.
was a 6 a.m. start this morning.
It's a big day. Me too.
So
Big
it is
day.
a big day.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I thought 7 a.m. got to be at Patchwork Studios by 6:30 p.m. And really the whole day was centered around that. I didn't want to be late. It's a 3.5 hour drive.
Huge.
7 hour total drive.
Oh, that's a big day.
I arrived here. I was meant to arrive at 6:30. I arrived at 6:20 p.m. without skipping a step. I drove, and I'm incredibly proud of myself. Christian, I'm going to reveal that I mentioned this to you downstairs.
Yep.
And you said, what's there to be proud of? What's the big deal?
I don't think that's very impressive.
Which bit?
The fact that you arrived somewhere on time, knowing exactly how long it would take you to drive here.
But I was out all day for 12 hours.
That none of what you did today impacts on it being impressive because you knew exactly when you plugged in the Patchwork Studios into Google Maps, you knew X time to get here and you left at that time.
No, but it's still...
Why is that impressive?
Because I still took into consideration like traffic and like...
Is it impressive when you get here on time every other time?
I think that's pretty impressive. Considering I live in the Great Ocean Road, I think it's hugely impressive.
Here's a question.
Do you know what I mean?
How far before the end was your last break? How long was the last stretch of driving?
Great. 2 hours, 10 minutes.
2 hours 10?
Yeah, went to a
That's
bakery.
big.
Went to a bakery in Colac.
Oh, so
Delicious.
you were doing
Home.
you were doing stops along the
Yeah.
way?
Yeah, that's
How
what you do.
many?
Have you ever
How
done
many?
the Great Ocean Road?
How many?
How many stops? How many?
That's a YouTube gag.
It's really good. And if you don't get it, watch YouTube. Otherwise, I'll be disappointed in you again.
You can see Josh's shirt.
I got an ore bust, which I stopped over at. But lots of stops. Tried to stop a lot along the way, but I just felt like it was. I don't know. I felt like it was a bit of a triumph. Like I
It's
could have been.
good.
It would have been. It would have been a valid excuse.
Let me work out the planning that took part for this. So when you were during the day, did you just punch in Patchwork Studios and then you saw, okay, it's going to be 3 hours 15 minutes, whatever it is, and be like, that means I have to leave at and then I'm going to add X amount of time for stops.
That's right. There was.
Did,
So I
yeah.
factored in the stops, factored in the eating time, factored in potential traffic.
Did you
all this
factor
kind of
in
stuff?
the where you were going to stop, or just how long?
No,
for?
just how long for?
And how long did you book in for the breaks?
I don't remember. That's the impressive bit. Oh, maybe
So
maybe a total of 25
are you more
minutes.
impressed because of how ad hoc it was?
Yeah, it was kind of, I
And
think if you need to prove how impressive something was, it probably wasn't that
No, 'cause
impressive,
the
is
difference,
it?
The difference here is if this was back in the day where we're just flicking through the Melways.
Yes.
And you were like,
And you don't know traffic.
okay, I've got to go back to Melbourne at this time. That's probably going to be about 3 and a bit hours.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Josh, what's for our international listeners, or even our listeners interstate, what's the Melways? Is it any different from a map?
You might call it the A to Z in the UK.
Oh.
Or
Or
if
the
you're in
Sidways?
Sydney, Sidways in Sydney.
And Sri Lanka, what would you call it? Any idea?
Lankaways.
Lankaways?
Not sure.
Not sure either.
So, essentially, it's just a book. It's just a book of maps.
Yeah.
It's the street map of Melbourne.
Is it? Does it
Right.
resonate in your brain from your childhood?
Yeah. I have like very vivid memories, and I'm very proud of these memories. I was impressed by them. Of had to go to a party or something, and I have the Melways open it up at the start of the trip.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
Look through, but I'm going to go to here. That means I have to go here, turn here. Would
Again-
put it next to me.
What?
And then just go and drive that.
Again, not impressive.
Yes, it is. That's
okay.
incredibly
Okay.
impressive.
Both of you are impressed by planning out your day. That's
Yeah.
all you've done.
No, that's
If you're
spatial
driving,
awareness.
Getting somewhere you want to
Christian-
go is not impressive. Getting there on time also not
Christian,
impressive.
If you're driving to somewhere you've never been before, it's going to take 45 minutes. You think you could comfortably remember that route if you've looked it up for the first time in the Melways.
Wait, you're saying that you looked it up and
a
then
place
put
I've
them-
never been before.
and you didn't write it down anywhere. You just committed it to memory.
Yep. I was like,
That's huge.
At this intersection, I'm going
That's
to turn here.
That's really impressive.
Thank you.
It's impressive, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And
Yeah.
it was about when I get to this intersection, I got to turn
Intersection.
I got to turn-
And for our
turn
Kiwi
left.
listeners,
Yeah, what's in New Zealand?
Welly ways.
It's good.
So Josh, recently you were in a queue.
I went to the tennis a few weeks ago, the Australian Open. You know what? It really hit different. So
What Christians throw to you?
The balls.
yeah. So essentially, we went on day one, which was pissing down with rain. Georgia and I, my house, we had a bit of a sleep in, so we didn't get there bang on the start. Some of our friends went early, got into John Cain Arena, which is the ground. If you buy just the cheap ground pass, it's the only undercover stadium. So a lot of people would have got in early. So we got there. It was just starting to sprinkle with rain. We're like, okay. Jumped in the queue.
Can I say I didn't understand?
Oh, really?
I haven't understood a single word you said.
funny.
Are you the same?
You know, it sounded like Josh was cut up like by in post. It sounded like it was cut up in post, and also the speeds were adjusted.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
like a Franken edit
I'm
of
so
what that should
sorry.
have been.
I'm
Okay,
so
could
sorry.
you do it again? Do it because
I'll
it's
do
a
it- I'll
5
do
6
it
story.
real.
All you did was you went to tennis and started raining. I think that's all we got. And it took 10 minutes.
But when did it start raining? At 7 a.m.?
God, that's
Just
good.
It's
Okay,
a big day.
Try it again. Try it again.
Okay, so went to the AO Australian Open. It hit different.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got a cricket sound effect. So went along. It started to rain. There's only one ground you could get into.
Lost.
That's undercover. Was obviously going to be very popular on the day it was raining, right?
Gotcha.
You're with me, listeners.
Okay.
So went to the door that our friends are in, door 5. Like, okay, we'll jump in the queue for door 5. They're already there. We'll go in and see them. Probably maybe 20, 30 meter queue, just waiting, and it was moving down, and we were like, okay, this is okay. We're sort of moving. Then got maybe like 10 meters out, really slowed down and stopped.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then like slowly moved a bit, and then it just stopped moving. And then some of the guys at the front of the queue was like, hey guys, the line's not going anywhere. You just go, enjoy your day.
The
Get out of
line's
here.
not going
'Cause-
anywhere.
So I should mention, they normally have a digital queue. So you just scan a QR and you jump in the queue, and then they send you a message, go, hey, you're ready to come in now.
Oh, okay.
But
Into the stadium.
Yeah.
For
So
a tennis match.
to save people physically lining up.
Not impressive, Christian.
And so that was down on the first day. So it was just a physical queue. And they hadn't managed it very well.
Okay.
So we were there. And then the guy was telling a bunch of people to leave. And then maybe another half hour later, a bunch of people went in. And then they sort of let them all go up the stairs. And then they stopped it. Dead stopped it.
Christian, are you lost?
No,
You're not.
I'm barely
No.
barely following along.
I'm just
Maybe I'm
checking
doing
in.
really bad.
No,
job
no,
of telling the
No. I
story.
just thought I'd check in, Christian, because I'm absolutely
I'm
lost.
actually thinking it's because I'm sitting in Josh's chair.
I know.
There's something weird
I
about
know.
the angle of looking at you and trying to
really
hear you out of my
we're
right
seeing
ear.
Josh's beauty and we're starry-eyed.
No, go on. Sorry,
And
Josh.
so essentially what it ended up being was we're in the queue. Then there was a group of 3 and a group of 2.
Yes.
And then that was the front of the queue.
Oh.
And they were like, no one else is getting in. So there's like 5 people in front of us. You're not
Shit.
going to get in. And we're like, but we're 5 from the front. Surely.
Is this because the stadium's full?
Yeah, 'cause it's
Or
raining.
Because they're playing.
It's raining and everyone's
It's
off
raining.
the ground passes and they all
No,
have
there's
to
no
fight.
other tennis going on except
Yeah,
for the
it's
3
just that.
undercover courts.
Oh my God.
So these
okay.
were the only spots you could watch tennis undercover. And so we were there. I was fending off people from the queue, as we've spoken about before, which I was really happy to do. People behind me were very impressed. Like, thanks so much for doing that. And I was like, no worries.
How are you fending them off?
The secret, if you want to know how to get people,
Push 'em.
You pretend they're ignorant.
Mm.
And you go,
Huh.
oh, I don't know if you guys, this isn't the end of the queue. It's like way back there, like 50 meters back there is the end of the queue.
That
This
is
isn't the
good.
end.
I love That's great.
It's good, but it's see-through. The people on the receiving end know that.
No,
they've been
that was
told.
so genuine, though. That was
But
perfect.
it comes off as, it straddles the line, right? You get
Yeah.
a bit of both.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, no, you guys are wrong. It's way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up that you're trying to cut the queue.
But then
Yeah.
one guy was like, oh, come on, you can let me stay with you. I was like, nah.
What was with the accent?
He had an accent.
Did you need it for the story?
Yeah, because he was a
Well,
young
if we
international
didn't,
guy.
let's
So
do
you're
it
trying to say
again.
he's trying to say international patrons are,
Yeah.
are stupid?
It's Australian
Anyway.
Open.
They were young men.
She's
They
a
were
yell a
always
lot
like-
in between
yeah, they-
serves.
Anyway, so we're in line and then chatting to the people behind us, having a great time, got on with them, having a few gags. One of our friends come down the stairs, to get a drink or whatever. We start waving. The people behind us start waving at them like, what's going on? Oh, you know Steph? Yeah, we know Steph. And so we all knew each other.
Oh.
And I was like, they've been to house parties at my house.
Oh,
They're like,
wow.
I remember your place. Anyway, having a great time with them. And our friends were coming down like, oh, I'm so sorry waiting in line. And we were like, we're actually having a really good time. Got out to hadn't moved. Sorry, the 3 guys got taken away.
Yep.
There were 2 people in front of us and then
The
us.
3 guys got taken away.
As in- they
The
had,
longest setup.
they had lanyards.
Ask
And
the
they
question.
went-
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
so
okay.
Here we go.
we were in that queue for about 2 hours.
Oh my God.
And we got to the point. It was like, I don't think we're gonna
But
get
you
in
have to.
because
You have to.
these were the factors. They were like, well, the match before is gonna finish soon, and maybe some people will leave that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, when people leave and they get a pass out, if they don't get a pass out, all this kind of stuff,
Question, if someone's going to the toilet, do they immediately lose their seat?
they give you a pass out that's like valid for half an hour.
Oh.
So you can go get a drink, whatever, and then come
Oh.
back.
God, that's a complex system.
Yeah,
Yeah, tell me about
the
it.
online one. Try explaining on a podcast. But the clincher was
Dreadful.
to try and simplify this. The clincher was there was a moment when I realized like we're not getting in. It was like they were not tracking people who were leaving and not taking a pass out. So they had no idea if someone was just leaving. And when I
Shocking.
realized that, it's like we're not getting in because they're not tracking it.
Christian, would you have waited 2 hours?
You would have to, in my opinion.
How much was your ticket?
I think it was like $50, but
'Cause that
I got
comes
for
into
free-
it,
I got
right?
it for free that day.
That does come into it. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Friend of a friend dropped out.
I think you have to because
Oh, a friend of a friend dropped out and you didn't compensate them for it.
I offered to.
What was the nature of the offer?
How much do I owe you for the ticket? No, don't worry about it.
How much do I owe you for the ticket? You knew what you were asking then, didn't you? It wasn't, I'll transfer you the money. What's your BSP account? It's like, how much? It's a very light
That's
question.
great. How would you do it? What would you say?
I
Give
would
me
say, how much was the ticket?
how much was the ticket versus how much I owe you for the ticket. Is
Do you
that
reckon
this
there's a
big, do you reckon
difference?
there's a
what
distinction?
if the question was, pay me what you feel like? Like whatever you think you should transfer, you transfer.
What do you think?
I think he should have just said the ticket was this much. And
Would
I
you
would
have paid
agreed.
50
yeah,
bucks?
100%. He's
You
like,
would have
the
paid
ticket-
100%.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? Do
No,
you feel
100%? Yes, I would have.
Why couldn't you pay him? Oh, sorry. Why couldn't he go? I should say. Sorry. Why
I didn't ask. That wasn't part of my questioning. Hang on. Why has this ticket come up? Give me a reason.
I wonder if he knew that it was raining and he knew that he would have
I would stay in the line for 2 hours. I feel like staying in the line for 2 hours is fine because the only reason you're there is to see tennis.
Yes.
There's only tennis being played on those courts where
Yes.
you are.
Yeah.
You're close to the front, so there's the chance that you're going to be getting in.
And that's what we're saying. Well, if I was 5 meters away,
Yeah.
I would have left. There were still people like 20, 30 meters back. I'm like, you're definitely not getting in.
You're in a bad position.
We genuinely thought that we're so close that we can't give up.
Josh, did you ask the attendant how long it would take to get in?
We got on very well with Stephen.
Oh.
I don't know if he did. I don't think Stephen did you any favors.
He was an air host. I was gonna say hostess. That's not the
Air
right
host.
word.
That's all right.
Air host.
Air host.
You've corrected yourself, though.
Thank you.
That's what matters.
Yeah, and so we're having a good chat with him. And because we thought, not that was the only reason, but like if we're nice to him, maybe he'll go and get up there.
Gee,
Get up there, you scallywags.
that didn't go well,
Do
did
you
it?
think
No, we didn't.
But do you think Steve had any wiggle room?
No.
Could you have done more?
No, because it's all about the manager says this and the manager says that. I'm like, that's okay. It's day one. You don't want to go against that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we were almost in a bad position because like, we kept saying we can't throw it away because if we walk away and then 5 minutes later they move, we'll hate our life. But anyway, it got to the point. They're not tracking it. Let's go.
Oh, that is such a tough. How long are you processing that decision?
I was
2
very
hours,
happy.
presumably.
It got to the point I was like, it's fine. We'll do something else. The people behind us, some of them had gone to the bar. We'll just go to the bar. We just hung out with them all day drinking in the bar.
How was that?
And it was a great day.
There we
It was
go.
excellent.
Super interesting.
And it got to the point where I was like, I kind of don't want to see any tennis today. So
Yeah.
I could say I waited in line and then went to the bar. That was my tennis experience.
Yeah.
Great. Christian, when you're in a long line, let's say there's a club, you go clubbing regularly, don't you? You're in a very long line, or no, it's like it's a restaurant. It's 20
Yeah.
people long.
Yep.
Will you go to the front to the person who's coordinating it all and say, what's an estimate? How long do you think this line? And will you do that? And also, if you do, how accurate is that estimate usually?
I think I don't because the estimate's never accurate.
It's a very
because
difficult
there's
thing to estimate.
There is no system that is available to them that says approximately this amount of time, and especially at a club.
Yeah, there is. They
No.
could have data on all that shit. How many
But they
seats?
how many security guards
Have
have
data,
you seen
have access to
with,
data?
Yeah, with graphs in front of them, data maps.
That is such a funny thought.
Yeah.
What a great with a pointer and just going, well, last year at the same time.
Sorry.
I
Josh.
think the big clincher is often those bigger queues, they will move just a little bit, right? As ours was at the start. And you go, this will be fine. You
Yeah.
get a sense of the momentum.
Yeah.
In this case, it just stopped and did not move at all.
Yeah,
So if you're in a
yeah.
queue that like nothing is happening here, it's almost hard. You're like, what is going to burst this down?
It tests your faith.
It does.
Because in those long queues where they're progressively moving, you don't have to have faith. I know this is moving. I know I'll eventually get there. You had to have faith.
Christian,
did.
is it the same when you're on the phone to a bank and it says an estimated wait time of 45 minutes?
I love that. I love
Sorry?
that. I love a wait time being announced. You are 12th in line. There is a 45-minute wait.
Would you prefer 12th in line or would you prefer a time indication?
Absolutely.
Number in line every time.
Why the hell that? Why?
I feel that's easier for me to work out than them just sending me numbers. Like, I don't trust your number. I'd rather know how many people because I could probably be like, all right, well, there's only 3 more to go.
Yeah.
No, but if anyone's got data, they've got the data. They've got the data on what the average call length is.
You don't know what the
Caller 2 is going to be like.
caller
Yeah,
2.
it's true.
Because John is a pain in the ass, isn't he? He's always calling up. He's shocking.
Can you give me John?
Yeah, I just got a problem with my savings account. That's all you'll get.
That's a very convincing
great
John.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great voice.
It's great having John.
always
It's run out.
I do a bit of a Josh every time someone actually answers.
Oh, yeah.
When you're calling a customer service line, they go, "Oh, hi, thanks for reaching X Energy Company. How can I help you today?" And all of a sudden, I forget why I'm calling,
Oh.
and then can't get my description of what's happening right. It's
So
always
just
like,
call us
"Oh,
calling
there's
it
a."
Josh?
there's
Wait,
a-
what was,
no,
was that reference to Josh's opening in the podcast?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's a great reference.
Yeah, thank you. But it happens to me every time. Does anyone else suffer that?
You're caught off guard.
You're like, what are the right words to
because
use?
In their world, they're ready to go because
Yeah.
they're like, let's punch through to the next call.
Yeah.
And you're like, where's my phone? What's going on?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
such a long setup. I'm like, anyway. So we're moving, but I bought a place, and
Yeah.
the number. Oh, is it? Do you need the
So who is this?
CRN? The
And you know
customer
they're
reference
sitting
number?
there all day.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to take notes. And like, what the hell is this? What about the online ticketing system? Could like the
sounded
online
it was
queue.
Great. It sounded like it was great.
Oh, meaning that one or anyone. When you're in Ticketmaster, it's like a big event.
Yeah,
You're happy to just
God.
wait. Are you refreshing while you're waiting?
Those are unreliable because, as an example, I was buying tickets for a football final, and I remember it said you are like 1,350th, and then within a 30-second span, it just dropped me down to 20th in line.
Really?
Because it just happened to process. That gives a false idea
Yeah,
of how
yeah.
long it's going to be.
So I think with a good queue, you're wanting a good indication. You're wanting foresight to how long you're in the queue for.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm out.
How about
Oh,
this?
you'll
I'm
ditch.
out. I'll ditch. I can't stand
But
queues.
other
I feel like an
things-
idiot.
Other things you might consider. What about the company you're with? If you were by
Oh
yourself
my god.
versus with a friend.
Is there a lot of self-referential line chat when you're with that
yeah,
company?
heaps.
Heaps of line dynamics chat.
Do you like a line chat though? I feel like it's a bit of an anxious chat. It's a forced chat.
But to meet strangers,
Yeah.
it's great as we did. Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
as the people were coming down from the stairs, I was like, look, they look smug. Look at them. They think
Yeah.
they've worked this whole thing out. We're like, yeah. Like it's an us versus
Yeah.
them mentality. So it's good to build companionship.
I feel like even you're in line. I feel like even if you're in line with someone you know, there's something about a line. I think it's the awkwardness of your body. You're positioning your body. Do you know what I'm doing? You have to go to lean against something in the line. I don't know what's going on. It just seems awkward.
Well, you're standing in the same spot. It's very unnatural. You're standing in the same spot in anticipation of something greater.
do you have a
I'll just make that noise one more time.
when you have to stand still for a long time, what kind of things are you doing to keep the body
Glute-
together,
glute-
limber?
trying to do glute
You
exercises.
squatting?
No, not squatting.
Glute.
Just clenching. Just
Lying on the
they're
ground.
just
Clenching?
No, not lying on the ground.
Why are you
Just standing up.
clenching your butt?
Because they're not activating enough. Glutes are very important for your back. I haven't got a great back.
Glutes
I got-
activate.
But I'm trying to squeeze my
Cheeks blow out. Rockets come out.
trying to squeeze my glutes. Just trying to stretch because it
stretch.
could be a big day. Why? What are you doing?
Well, I'm wondering.
Do you need to?
Yeah. I generally will just sit heavily weight on one leg. Like I'll cross one leg behind the other.
Oh,
So a
yeah,
lot of
you
my
will.
weight goes on one leg, so I have to swap a lot.
None of this stuff is natural, is it?
Nah.
Like the human body wasn't meant to just stand and lean on one leg,
What's our
right?
natural state?
That
What should
would
a
be
human?
great.
Are
Should
we
we be
crouching?
floating?
Floating?
Yeah. Should we
Floating.
be floating?
That'd
Is
be great. They let you. You're in line at Australian Open. They let you float in line.
Flotation
What would you do?
tanks.
Would you do a flotation tank or you lie on the ground
At the Australian Open?
at the Australian Open if it's outside?
if they-
Hey, sorry, are you having trouble with this hypothetical?
if they offered
It's a multi-purpose venue.
if they offered a flotation tank,
Yeah.
or they said, or you can lie on the ground. It depends because
In
you
water.
have to leave the line to get to the flotation
No,
tank.
it's what are you
And
talking
you
about?
got-
It's there.
Hang on,
It's there in the line.
Maybe it's there.
You've got to shower before you get in and when you get out though, because there's a lot of salt.
Oh,
So you're going to be very
is-
salty, but you'll feel great.
Is there a screen in the tank where I can see the tennis?
Now you got to imagine it. That's
Actually,
the joy of it.
speaking of tennis, I was watching the cricket the other day. I thought this was really interesting.
Yep.
Ricky Ponting,
Yeah.
who's a cricketer from the 90s we all bloody love.
90s naughties.
90s noughties.
Why do you love him?
I think he's a very good commentator.
Okay.
I think he's the best cricket commentator.
Wow.
Anyway, there was a ball that was bowled, and the ball just went over the bails. Now, we're a jurisdiction-friendly podcast. I'm not going to describe what bails are. I'm not going to go into every little detail. Just imagine it's a sport with a ball flying
We're
over it.
mainly a Commonwealth listened to podcast.
That's true. That's true. That's what we want. That's why we're going for the Commonwealth Games in 2028. Anyway, so the ball went over the bails, and he said, "Geez, that just missed by an inch." And I thought to myself, it's interesting he's chosen inch as a measurement. And then I was thinking, when else do I bring on the Imperial system in my life? And then I thought to myself, is the Imperial system, is it better than the metric system? And then I thought to
how much
myself,
of a problem to have my savings account?
And I was thinking, why is he using an inch? Because he could say, what's an inch in centimeters?
I think it's 3 or 4.
Nah. I think it's 2.5, isn't it?
Okay, well 3.
Surely. I'll have a look.
I said 3 or 4. He said no, off by half a centimeter.
Yeah, we'll fact check. No, 3 or 4 is way different. An inch is 2.54 centimeters.
I said 3. I thought it was
bet
3.
You're almost 40% wrong.
2.5 to 3.
I bet the three of us know about 5 or 6 inches. About
Yeah.
how big that is.
Once again, it's something that the penis size is universally. It's universal.
Say it. Allude to it.
But we still,
it's sexier that way.
Yeah, penis size is still measured in inches.
It's all measured
And
in inches.
height.
Height
And
is.
Height is weird because I'm like, I can visualize 6'1", 5'10". If you told me that was in centimeters, I would be completely lost.
178.
Yeah.
Wait, why have you got that?
Height, I get it. I can use that and I get it.
Oh, is that because how tall are you?
I'm just over 6. I'm probably like 6'1", I think.
That's why you can do it because because 6 is the reference point.
But I never know that that's 180 something centimeters, is it?
The
I don't know.
worst,
Only
the
6'1".
worst is that there's 5'10", and then there's 5'11". That shouldn't be. It should be
Yeah.
5'9" into 6.
Yeah, but that plays into what we know about the Imperial system.
Oh.
really.
Yeah, it's
well,
It's
stupid.
par for the course
Well,
for Imperial.
Christian, when we
12.
go into a full blown
Base 12.
when we go to a full blown debate with the University of Notre Dame that we've got that we'll front up against, that's definitely one of the factors. So I think that the metrics, that's one vote for the metric system. The transition from
Yeah, it is the idea of the metric system being better if everything's logical about it.
yeah, that is the best argument.
Yeah.
But the biggest question of all is which system has the better lengths?
Yeah.
Which? And,
You're right.
And Patrick, because I want you to think about this question because this is a big one. This is a big one because would you prefer to have an inch on a desert island or a centimeter?
Are we doing desert island distances? One distance for the rest of your life. What's it going to be?
That's really good.
Really
So-
good.
Oh, yeah, pick it.
I
What's your
think-
one distance for the rest of your life?
I think the only thing I use Imperial
Oh,
for.
what? We're
Yeah.
there already?
I'm doing height, and I'm with Ricky. I'm with Punter. Like smallish distances, I love an inch. Like it makes so much sense to me.
Christian?
When I'm putting my fingers together,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's about an inch or 2 inches.
But hang on, you don't
Yes.
even know what an inch is.
I
You thought-
do.
You thought it was
It's
3
a-
or 4
no, no.
centimeters.
They said the conversion's wrong. Also, 3 is
conversion's
half,
wrong.
dude. Half a centimeter is nothing. And you're making out like I'm 10 centimeters
Half a
off.
centimeters. Nothing sounds like we've got an imperial boy here. That is imprecise.
I think when you go to describe something being very close, the natural shape your fingers take
Yes.
is about an inch.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
What measurement? We'll come back to it in a second. I just want to ask you just before I
Do a
forget.
centimeter. If you do a centimeter with your fingers, it
Yeah.
actually feels a bit tight.
It feels a bit. Yeah, it's not quite right.
Yeah.
What?
Go on, get out. If you're listening to this, get your fingers out. Do an inch and a centimeter.
Yeah.
What measurement can you guys do with your hands or fingers the best?
Like I said, probably somewhere between 5 and 6 inches.
I reckon.
Probably between.
I reckon an inch I'd be sweet. A foot I'd be okay.
Hey, what's sweet?
A yard. I've got absolutely no idea of how big a
Yeah.
yard is.
Well, that's a yeah.
What's a yard?
It's a backyard.
What's a furlong?
No, we'll go through these. So,
It's an Edward.
what about a foot? What
From
what,
the
what's
kid
a
in
foot?
Terminator to
is it?
Edward Furlong.
I usually do
Thank
those.
you.
A foot is a foot. A foot.
A foot is a foot. It was taken from the king's feet. The measurement was taken from the king's foot.
So his foot was
2025, and that's what we're using. How big was the king's foot?
Yeah.
So 1 foot. I just looked it up. 1 foot is.
Hang on. 1 foot, I reckon.
Here it is.
A foot will be like 4 inches.
Oh.
No, I don't know. What? A foot is 4 inches.
No, I'm saying a foot is 12 inches.
I reckon you need to get checked out.
Are you okay?
A foot is 12 inches.
Is it?
And
Oh,
how many
huge.
centimeters is that? Josh, probably 2.
2.5.
30.
30.48.
That is...
Wait, you knew that because of rulers,
I absolutely just thought of a ruler because I did this. I'm like, that's probably about a 30 centimeter ruler.
Yeah.
Great.
God.
I didn't know
Now that's impressive.
a foot with a ruler.
That's got to be the next iteration of our podcast. That has to be. Now that's impressive. A yard? Sorry, I've just brought these up here. This could turn into one of those lists we did, I think, in early days of Patchwork.
Listicles.
Listicles. What about a yard?
Yard. Surely there's like 4 feet in a yard.
Less than a meter, right?
I actually can't visualize a
I reckon
yard.
it's 1.4 meters. Thereabouts.
Christ, he's just totally off.
That's what I tried it. Good. Then my opinion of myself
Josh,
is accurate.
do you remember a yard glass? Do you reckon that's taller than
Bob.
you?
Yard glass?
baby.
What's yard glass?
No idea, but I just know that it's a thing.
How good is it?
Actually, if you want to do a yard, I reckon no, that's like a foot.
Christ,
When-
mate.
a foot long.
Question.
Subway.
It's 91 centimeters a yard.
So,
Just under a meter.
that's correct. And if I was to ask you to roughly guess, roughly indicate to me how big a meter is, what would you do?
I'm probably putting my like a bit wider than shoulder length, and I'm kind of imagining.
Okay, so let's say we're
rulers.
not recording a podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
You're having a
that's
chat with someone and they go,
We're not.
Josh, I've never seen a meter before. Can you just quickly visualize it for
I
me?
would probably put my arms at shoulder width apart and then spread them another few degrees.
Very nice. It
And
looks
Dion,
nice.
what would you do?
I'd do the same thing, but I've had to adjust with age because when you were younger, usually it used to be like as far out as
Oh, yeah.
you could go.
Like
And
that Michael
here-
Jordan photo.
Here, I just have. I think I've got a very good idea of what a meter is. I just eye it. I don't even need my shoulders.
In my mind, it's always been a slightly longer step.
Oh yeah.
When you're
The
walking.
fuck are you measuring
a
that?
So when you want to measure a room, you just do a couple of big strides. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, it's about 4 meters.
You know what I just realized from my years and years and years and years of netball umpiring, I could nail telling you how long 3 feet is. Absolutely nail it.
Could you though?
Yeah, I could. 100%.
What? You said it was 4 inches earlier.
I didn't think about that. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, you did.
I know exactly how far 3 feet is.
Dion, we've spoken about this for a while now. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Yep.
Desert island distance.
Yeah.
What's the one distance you're taking on a desert island with
It's
you?
such. I honestly don't think it's in the metric system.
Metric or imperial?
Yeah. Well, I know. I think it's.
Josh, and what about you?
I think if desert island, if we're thinking about the actual desert island, I don't think an inch is useful on a desert island. I think it's either for me, it's either the foot or the yard. And I think I'm probably more familiar with a foot, so I think I'm taking.
Dion,
a foot.
but
Dion,
is
Dion.
a foot going to make you laugh like an
Dion,
inch
Dion.
will?
Would you like me to explain the concept of desert island things?
No,
It's not about practically what is best
No,
on a desert island.
no, that
'Cause you
can
don't
be.
have
It's
a
about-
record player
It's
on a
about
desert island.
it's about the company.
no,
yeah.
no, no.
So which distance is going to keep you best company?
No, that which
Company.
Christian, when someone gives you a desert island thing, you can take it. I know it's the hypothetical, but I think this is. It's the
You're saying you can't be challenged? And that was your impression of Josh earlier?
That was my impression of me. I think that with the desert island scenario, sometimes there is leeway to take into consideration the desert.
But not the point.
The point is that you just want to be alone
It's
with it
like
in the world.
one thing for the rest of your life. What is it?
Foot,
Great.
inch,
Foot.
Christian.
No, it changes when it's a desert island. It's an inch.
I'm inch all the way.
Yeah, I'm inch all the
Inch.
way.
Yes, there's something about it. It's good. I just like it.
You're going to disappoint us with something
It
different?
feels so much better.
Yeah, I bet you will.
I'm going to go a light year.
I
would love to
How
take-
far's that?
It's 1 year of light traveling.
Yeah.
A light
How
year.
far is it?
That's a good point.
It's-
I have no idea.
It's 299,000 kilometers a
Centimeters.
second. A second.
Yep.
And now
For
we just got to
360.
calculate.
How many light years away is the sun?
It's my one of my favorite things is Googling that and seeing how unbelievably large that number is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 4 furlongs.
So how many?
The sun is 4 furlongs away.
So Christian, how many light years is your penis?
Between 5 and 6.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Welcome to Patchwork. That was fun. And it's been a great 10 seasons, 8 years.
Well, 9 seasons because we're into
5
season
yards.
10 now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's only been a good 9 seasons.
Has it been
only
8
been a good time.
years?
8 years.
8 years?
Oh, maybe it's
Jesus.
9. Maybe it's 10. Who knows? But
Anyway.
anyway, fun. We're doing some stuff on social media. We're trying to light up social media a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got clips on there. Go and check it out. Go and check out our TikTok. We're going to revitalize it.
No,
Going to
we're
revive
not.
it.
We can't.
No, I
Banned
will.
in the US.
Oh, all those US listeners.
Wait,
they'll
are we
hate
getting
it.
back on TikTok?
Yeah,
I'm not getting on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to post some videos on TikTok.
Good luck, mate.
Yep. Some little clippy boys.
You've made the promise now.
Well, maybe a better platform is Patreon. You get a bonus patch in every off week.
Yeah,
that's
Sign
good
up.
And you support the podcast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't just listen now to support things.
Cover the costs, would you?
But thank you to
You
our
get it for
Patreon.
free. Just cover our costs.
I think it's $2 is the Lotus
$2 a
Lotus
month
thing, isn't
is
it?
the Lotus.
White Lotus.
God.
$2 a month is the cost of coffee.
Not this day and age.
It cuts the cost of coffee.
Oh, God. And as we do every week, we sew a new patch into our quilt of friendship. Josh! What patch did you sew into your quilt this week?
Thank you, Dion. My patch this week is me looking slightly puzzled, thinking, gee, I thought I'd be better at setting up stories after 10 seasons. Christian, what patch did you sew this week?
Thank you, Josh. This week, I sewed into my patch Dion, activating his glutes and rocketing across the top of the 8 apostles to get a closer look. And Dion, what did you sew into your patch this week?
My patch this week is Josh in line with 2 friends, 3 friends inside, a bloke called Steven, a float tank, and drinks outside and having a great time at the tennis while waiting in line for 2 hours when he got a ticket for free and caught up with the ones inside after the day. Thank you for listening to Talking to Patrick. For another week, I've been Dion.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Christian.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.